Hello, everybody. I am your favorite chaos entity, Ray Chan, back from the warp, and boy, do we have a good one for you today. In this episode, we are going to be responding to our first ever YouTube comment. I know. I'm just as hype as you guys are. I was honestly really surprised to see it when I had checked my phone. And when I did happen to glance over it, all I could say was, Holy Wall of Yap, Batman. But no, I'm honestly really glad that someone actually commented, took the time to write such a message, because that actually gives me something to make a video on. I thought about making a comment and ending it there, but I was like, nah, I could make something out of this. So, with all that said, we are going to go ahead and jump right into getting response to this comment. So, come along with me, my fellow seven cultists, and let us see what this comment has in store for us. And again, just from the initial glance, I can already tell it is a non-universal Bleach supporter. So, we've got some debunking to do. Let's begin.
Weed is the problem. Weed is not the problem. If I had to pick my family or weed, you know what I'm picking? Weed, nigga!
Alrighty, so shout out to one AMAZIAH for giving us this lovely comment that we are going to be going over today. I feel like I've heard that name before in a book somewhere, so interesting that it's a name that is popping up now recently for me. Also, I feel like I should give a prerequisite that I am off of a Monster Energy today. I was trying to be off of a backwood, but eventually I just went through those and XYZ. So blah blah blah. I'm working off of Monster Energies. I've already downed a can and I'm currently working on a second one, so I'm probably going to be all over the place. I'm going to try to keep it concise and not, I guess, maybe not talk fast as best as I can, but I make no promises. Anyways, first comment, or first thing that I decided to screenshot. In time, we accept the fact the realms in Bleach are in fact universes, to which he replies with, nope. Alright, here we go. So, he quotes me again in the next paragraph by saying, in the anime we see three bubbles. And then he goes, yeah, and in the 1,000-Year Bloodborne anime, episode 11, around 11 minutes, there's a scene where Go's sister are eating popcorn and playing a video game. When the earth starts to shake, we cut to outside and the Garganta is in the fucking sky. You see static liquid dripping, and then the literal Sarate in the sky of human world. Hard to believe this was meant to represent two universes colliding, little bro. How you interpret bubbles means fuck all when the anime shows you directly the two planets are about to smash into each other. Well, Mr. AMAZIAH, first and foremost, I do want to say I found the episode you were referring to, and it was in Core 3, but it was shown in episode 14. I took a few screenshots of the scene so I can back up more what I'm talking about when I do explain the fact that, in my opinion, and again, this is what I saw in the episode, so I could be personally wrong, but we'll make the argument, assuming that you're right anyways, and that the scene did play out how you're describing it. Because I do believe that the scene you're talking about is probably from the Spirit of Nobody's movie, the canon movie that Von Key talks about. And oh shit, you know what? I completely forgot to say it. I'm saying it now. This is a comment made on my Von Key video where I watch his video and I basically talk about how nonsensical it is. And this is a response comment to that. So this is a response video. Anyways, back to the episode that I'm talking about, and also the screenshots. So first of all, I believe the static liquid that we see in the sky, which isn't dripping, is actually coming from the Mimihagi effect from Ukitake when he activated the ritual ability. I'm not gonna remember it off the top of my head, but I think it's Kamikage. I might have said it wrong, but again, I'm just remembering it off the top of my head, even though I just watched it like a few minutes ago. But anywho, I believe that static liquidy black stuff from the sky was from Ukitake, and the fact that he was doing the ritual, which, halted, the collapse of the three realms. And so basically, I think that's just his ritual actually breaking, because we do see in the anime it cuts to his body, and then it cuts to his, and then after the black stuff completely snaps and breaks away, it cuts to, I believe, his body like spazzing out. So I think that symbolizes Mimahagi's ritual. That's Dunzo. The realms are like completely under Yuha's power, and we also cut to Yuha, and he's like just sitting on his throne, and then grown what his throne, and then he grins. So I believe that's what it means. Like you say, after he absorbed full Mimihagi's power fully, that kills Ukitake basically. So I don't think that's what it was shown. Again, I think you're kind of confusing it with the Spirit of Nobody's movie, which I believe is something that does happen, where like people in the human realm look up and see the sky is splitting open, and they see like the realms colliding. So you're right, that does, like, there is a scene that does happen, just not in this episode. The only thing that we see from the scene is just Ichigo's sister and the black stuff again breaking, which I think is just symbolizing the death of Mimi Hagi. The whole bubble thing, again, that's coming first of all from the primordial sea. So those bubbles are kind of really important, and they can be of, well, whatever size the Soul King wants them to be, because he's the one making the realms from the bubble. Um, and really, the bubbles isn't really important. The whole bubble thing was just about how he left out the three realms. All I was saying is just it's about the three realms, not the two realms. But anyways, moving on. Actually, no, not moving on. One more thing I want to add. How we interpret that these bubbles are universes, or the fact that the three realms are universes, and how we know that. Well, it's really not that hard to prove, honestly. We have a lot of context clue. Part of it, which I gave, there's a little encyclopedia on the stars. So the human realm has an outer space. We know again from the cosmology map, the Earth and the Moon exists. Secondly, again, the realms are cut off on a space-time level, so they literally can't intersect. And thirdly, which is, I know I added at the end of my video, so if you didn't watch it that far, I'll say it here. Soul Society has its own starry night sky, okay? We literally see, in a panel in the manga, mind you, that it has its own outer space. We already know Soul Society has a day and night cycle, so like it already has its own star that it orbits, and the other stars just proves it's bare minimum a solar system size realm. But why would it just stop at solar system unless stated? So we can kind of just conclude that it's meant to be its own universe, and we know it's its own universe because again, it can't be spatially connected to the human realm, so they can't share in outer space. That's how we know they're universes, okay? And also because they're the same side, not saying different side of the same coin. So if one realm has, starry night skies or whatever, the other realm also has it. And well, it does, human realm has its own day and night cycle. And in some scenes in the anime, we see this sky has stars in it. So yeah. Anyways, next paragraph. So, quoting Lee again, Yuha states he has the power to destroy the realms, and he responds with, Ki never disputes that. Insert needle drop here, if you will, and also me giggling because, like, in the words of a great philosopher, Viltrumite with an extremely awesome mustache, are you sure? Let us pull up the clip, wherever Vanki says it, shall we? And see what he says himself. So that way, we can, hold ourselves approved, not construe anything, right?
But what about Yuabach threatening to destroy the three worlds? Well, this is actually way more complicated. It's been consistently stated that Yuabach was simply going to destroy the balance of the worlds and make the worlds collide into each other by themselves, meaning that he wasn't going to directly destroy the three worlds. There is the argument that after absorbing the Soul King, he was going to destroy them directly without the need of destroying the balance, but this is actually false because the novel directly confirms that if Ichigo didn't beat Yuabach, he would have destroyed the balance of the world and made the worlds crumble together. So that final attack against Ichigo wasn't really Yuabach on his way to destroy the worlds by himself directly, it was actually him trying to cause the chain reaction. Which makes sense, we quite literally see that his energy covered the country, he was probably going to wipe out all the people there to destroy the balance. It's a better interpretation given what the novel states.
Did y'all catch it? If not, don't worry, I'll play it again.
There is the argument that after absorbing the Soul King, he was going to destroy them directly without the need of destroying the balance, but this is actually false because
Y'all catch it this time? If not, I'll give it to you one more time.
there is the argument that after absorbing the Soul King, he was going to destroy them directly without the need of destroying the balance, but this is actually false because
And the last one for the people way in the back, because there's always people at the back of the class that don't pay attention or are hard of hearing. So this one's for y'all.
there is the argument that after absorbing the Soul King, he was going to destroy them directly without the need of destroying the balance, but this is actually false because
So again, Yuha states he has the power to destroy the realms, to which you reply with, Ki never disputes that. So now all I have to say to that is, please tell me my ears didn't hear what they clearly just heard. Because to me, it sounds like he just said it was completely false that Yuha wasn't going to destroy the realms via his own power and that he was only going to collapse the realms, via, collapsing them by, destroying the linchpin. Mind you, the linchpin is the Soul King. And mind you, what I said in my previous video, where when the Soul King is literally killed, the effects are immediate. And the response was immediately for Ukitake to use the right arm of the Soul King to destabilize it. Or to restabilize it. And then again, he absorbs the power and becomes the Soul King. He becomes the linchpin. So like, if he dies, the realms are destroyed. And yet Ki is talking about he's only collapsing the realms, even, and literally specifically says, what about him after after absorbing the Soul King? So either I can't hear and I'm fucking deaf, or you're lying. And I would hate to call you a liar in my very first response video. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and just say that you're deaf. I'm not deaf. You're deaf. So I'm just going to say you, my friend, should probably get your hearing checked before you come to me and trying to say that Ki never disputes that when he just straight up says it's false and then uses a false meme, okay? Anywho, next part of the comment. He says, based on what he's claiming, it makes more sense he's still talking about collapsing the realms via the balance of the worlds. The nigga literally engulfs the Serite, and you see his power on the earth. And we know the Serite isn't the only re-establishment in the fucking Soul Society. The Rakungai isn't even covered by his power. And sure, why not? Whatever. The Rakungai isn't covered. Yes, we know that Serite is not the only thing in Soul Society. Good. That's smart. Now, the only downside to your argument and also understanding of the fact that Soul Society is, in fact, not just Serite, is this part where he also says this.
so yeah, Yobach's feat is not planetary. At best you can say that he's planetary because he scales to the Soul King possibly, but even that's iffy considering the fact that this version of the Soul King is much weaker than the one that split the worlds.
So not only is Ki saying that Yuha, under his own power, because he absorbed the Soul King, he's the Soul King, he's the linchpin, he's the balance of the three fucking worlds now, but he also says that Yuha's not even planetary even after absorbing the power of the Soul King. Again, it doesn't matter if the Soul King has limbs or not, and it's been sealed away for millions of years. That's the goddamn point of having the Soul King. It's to keep the realm stabilized and existing for the millions of years that he's been fucking alive. Without the existence of the Soul King, there wouldn't be no three planets. Even though he's trying to say he's not even destroying the planets. So then, if they're not planets, what in the world is the point of the Soul King if he's not even maintaining the existence of the planets? Like, hello? So please tell me again how Ki never disputes the fact that Yuha, with his own power, which I showed in my video of him stating it's his power that he's going to use to destroy the realms. Yeah, please tell me Ki doesn't dispute that again. Moving on to the next comment. Like, holy fuck, it's not that deep. It's not this deep, lil bro. Bleach isn't some deep read. Yes, the fuck it is. It clearly is, because Ki obviously doesn't have any idea what the hell he's talking about. That's, at this point, clearly self-evident to me upon doing another rewatch of this video. And it pains me even more to do a rewatch of this video, because as I was getting ready to put this video on the clips in, I was like, man, I really got to listen to this dumbass again. And this is exactly why. And now here you are, and I'm not trying to lose my cool at you. I'm more so losing my cool at Key because again, I have to listen to these dumbass takes again. But you're just adding fuel to the fire. So if I do sound annoyed, just know it's not directed at you. It's all directed at Key. But because I'm responding to you, I'm going to take out my anger, my frustrations, and my abuse on you. You're the child. You're the child of this abusive relationship, and I'm the parent. I'm hopped up on my monster energy, and I need to punch something. So here we go. It is that deep, little bro. It is this deep of a read, and it has to be this deep of a read because this information from this manga that's been around forever is still somehow being misinterpreted to this day, still being downplayed, triple downplayed, trying to say it's below planetary in the big 2026. Excuse me? Yeah, no. This is why I say Bleach is the Rick and Morty of anime, because only intelligent people are going to get it. And right now, there are some clear signs that we are, as a scaling community, lacking in intelligence right now. Because if we can't get Bleach right, one of the big three, then there's no way we're going to be able to scale other verses if we can't even get past this. Like, this is just embarrassing. So yes, it's that deep. I'm going to treat it that deep. And I'm treating it like a meme that I saw one day. Gatekeep like you're Sanguinius. That's what I'm doing. That's my job. And that's my role in this. And brother, you, my friend, have decided to join the chaos side. You've decided to join the heretics. And again, I'm Sanguinius. You're not going to have a good time. You're not going to win against me, okay? And you're especially not going to win when the dumbass in your corner is debunking himself and you're trying to say that's not what he said. It's not a good look. It's no bueno. And I say that as a chaos entity myself, but we're going to move past that. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Anyways, next paragraph. He says Kisuke said the realms are one, quoting me, to which he replies, no. Kisuke straight up says it in the subbed and dubbed, dumbass. He says verbatim in our, he says verbatim in both in our universe where we are now and Soul Society, while speaking to Soul Reaper, hailing characters, and Ichigo and his friends. The reason it's important to check both dubbed and subbed, because it'd be easy to mistranslate what he's saying as them being the same. But since both versions have him clearly state it's the same universe, then it is what it is. He says our while talking to Ichigo and his friends and Toshiro. That's all well and good. He could have said that, and at least according to Von Key's scan, that is what he said. But he's talking about it again in reference to the movie, which is canon, but I don't have the time to go watch it and look for the clip itself. In fact, I decide to use the source material, which is more canon than the hell no, but than the movie. And well, Kisuke, from his own mouth, as I showed in my scans, explains a world of Reishi and a world of Kishi cannot coexist. And as I said in my video, it is the entire reason why Ichigo's friends, who are made of Kishi or atoms, aka physical matter, had to convert said atoms into Reishi, aka spiritual matter, because the only person who could go to Soul Society as they were was Ichigo. And I literally explained all of this out. So I don't care what the subbed and the dub says of this stupid movie because it's more than likely wrong. Because again, the manga, and I probably could go find it in the OG anime where Kisuke is talking about the worlds, where he literally explains how it's all set up and again gives the whole lowdown. So this clip right here that he's using, more than likely he's using a mistranslated version because this just directly contradicts the manga, okay? So if we're going to try to say that this movie is canon to, the manga, which was like the whole debate and argument at the time, well, that would be a problem. So either this is a mistranslation and it's wrong, which I'm going to take and I'm going to assume because as I again debunked with manga scans, it's just not true. And again, it's just constantly doubled down on the fact that the Dawn guy, again, separates Soul Society and World of the Living on a space-time level, which you never address. So this also further debunks you. And, this is also explained by knowledgeable characters from the manga. Like, that's how the cosmology is set up. So I have no reason to take what Key or you say seriously, because you're both wrong. I even offer the evidence and you don't debunk it. So, like, none of what you say matters in the grand scheme of things, technically. So, as I said, well, not as I said, but I'm saying now, moving on to the next comment. So, for this one, he quotes me and saying it's like Universe 6 and responds by saying, no, it's not. This is never stated nor shown anywhere. From Can't Feed Your Own World, the structure of the universe is mandated on the fact that in the past there was no life and death. Crazy punctuation placement there. Due to hollows existing, which were made of reishi, the Soul King answered the prayers of the people and worked with the Soul Reapers to separate the Soul Reapers, humans, and hollows. If this implies anything and how sticks with the actual statements, it implies that Soul Society and Earth may be in the same universe, but they are boarded off. Ugh, excuse me, spit was building up there. Oh, Bleach has a world building mechanism called the Garganta, so this checks out with the hollows being sectioned off to themselves on Hueco Mundo. So, first things first, I was just bringing up Universe 6 and Dragon Ball as a comparison to kind of how the structures are set off. It's why I say it's like Universe 6. I use a simile like in the Can't Feed Your Own World novel, or, where the scan comes up where they're describing the planets, or not the planet, sorry. No, when they're describing the realms and they liken them to planets, yeah, I'm using a form of, I'm using metaphorical language to try to get my point across to anime normies, so that way they would understand how similar Bleach is, or an easier way to picture how the Bleach cosmology is structured. What you all say is true. Don't get me wrong. That is how the realms came to be. Okay, Soul King answers the prayers. He kills the hollows. He makes Hueco Mundo out of the giant, what do they call it, Minos Grande body, and he sections off the hollow realm. That is true. You're correct. What you're not correct about, and what the elephant in the room absolutely demands to be addressed, is the Don Guy. There is no such thing as, oh, they may be boarded off, and that and that it implies they're in the same universe. No, the fuck it doesn't. There's nothing to imply. It's cut off by the Don Guy. It's cut off on a space-time level. What else? What else implies they're in the same universe? I don't know how clear I can make it. I don't know how clear the fucking manga can make it. They're not connected. The only thing that connects them, again, as I say in my video, which Von Key describes, is the pipeline. But the pipeline, the Don Guy, again, is what keeps them disconnected. So I really don't get, again, where the saying is they're in the same universe. They're not in the same universe. And as I said before, they can't be in the same universe because Soul Society, Hueco Mundo, they're made of reishi matter, spirit matter. Human realm is made of atoms. These two things can't coincide. And if we do want to go back to the Spirit of Nobody movie, and what we see, it's the fact that when these two realms are out of place and start getting too close together, then they get attracted to each other, and then eventually the two realms collide and are simultaneously destroyed. There's nothing about that implies they're connected. In fact, we can't even call those planets. And it's super stupid to say that in the Spirit of Nobody movie, like, I'm just thinking about this, like, it's stupid to say that scene with the two black dots or whatever, colliding or whatever, which they specifically, call Soul Society and World of the Living. It's really dumb to assume that those are planets, because, again, flashing back to the cosmology page where Kubo or whoever drew this clearly depicts the Earth and the Moon. So we know and can distinguish the fact that human realm is referring more to just the planet. Because like I said in my previous video, why would the moon also be depicted? I'll tell you why. Because it's meant to show and depict, they're talking about the physical universe, not just Earth. Because if we're going to talk about, Yuha is destroying the human realm, and if we go by the cosmology map, the human realm has a moon, then we have to automatically say, wait, so that means he's destroying the planet and the moon. But then we also have to remember, wait a minute, the human realm also orbits a star, has a day and night cycle. So that means he's also destroying the star. And then when you keep tacking on everything else that's part of it, then you start to realize it's a universe. You can conclude it's a universe. And again, the elephant in the room that you absolutely refuse to address and that Key refuses to address or doesn't understand. But like I said, I'm already calling him a dumbass. So I'm pretty much dismissing what he says because in my mind it's stupid. So again, you're just kind of dumb for defending him because he puts his own foot in his mouth. And also, in the words of Uncle Ruckus, read, nigga. I literally give the scan. I don't, I'm So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. This manga debunks you. The Don guy exists. It cuts off things on a space-time level, and to equate it back to Universe 6 and Universe 7 from Dragon Ball, Universe 7 has its own space-time. Okay, because it's a universe, and then Universe 6 has its own space-time separate from Universe 7, despite the fact that the anime says that they're twin universes. So that means they have no connected timeline. Okay. And we also know for a fact that Soul Society and Human Realm also has no connected timeline because Ichigo and his gang get to Soul Society earlier than they were expecting due to getting chased by the cleaner. It fucks up their time stream. So we know they have separate times. So again, they are as disconnected can be. And to keep implying that they are in a universe when that is one, physically impossible because their atoms can't coexist. Otherwise, they destroy each other. See Memory of Nobody movie. And two, Don Guy, aka the elephant in the room. So, in your own words, that's another L. On your behalf, of course. Anyways, the last and final comment. We're almost there, everyone. And again, I thank you for the comment. If it sounds like I'm mad, and again, not at you, this is all at Key. Blame Key. This is all Key's fault. Oh, and how does the saying go? Oh, yeah. Onori! No. Onori! Van Kyo! There we go. On the Senjumaru point, you sound dumb as hell. You are one to be talking right now. Ichigo and Co. were in the Garganta. Yes, they were. He literally says the energy most likely reverberates through the Sakaimon into the Dangai. As I said, you are one to be talking right now because, well, again, I don't want to call you a liar, and I'm not. I'm just going to say that you're deaf. So because you're deaf and because I'm, got the clips and whatnot, this is what he fucking says. So please open up, put on your listening ears, okay? Put in your hearing aid, turn that shit up max volume, okay? Because I'm not playing this back to back multiple times.
Now, there is the anime exclusive feat of Senjumaru shaking the quote-unquote three worlds, which a lot of people interpret as three universes, but since we concluded that everything is part of the same universe, there is no such thing. And since we concluded that the realms are in reference to planets, that means that she only shook three specific planets. To say that she shook anything beyond that is headcanon. Furthermore, since all three realms or planets are connected through gateways, that means that her energy could have very easily simply traveled through those gateways as opposed to traveling through all of space. It would make no sense for her to hype up shaking three planets if she could actually shake the entire universe or something. Furthermore, if she unleashed so much raw energy that she can shake galaxies or something, that would be so powerful that it would have destroyed the entire Soul Society, especially considering the fact that 15 million degrees, which is the heat of the sun, can already destroy the entire Soul Society. And supernovas are nowhere near the level where they can shake even galaxies, let alone universes. So yeah, this supports that her energy simply traveled through a gateway.
Okay, now back to the rest of the comment. That kind of just set me off a little bit right there. Okay, he literally says the energy most likely reverberates through the Sakaimon into the Dangai, which is a pathway in the fucking Garganta to the Earth and Hueco Mundo. Not to mention, there's explanation she gives as to why the fuck this happens. So any argued reason is headcanon from Go. It may be inherent because in the same breath, y'all pretend that Senjumaru did something insane even for the series. Most Bleach tards think Aizen Solo's Zero Division as if they were planned characters when Aizen was the central villain. Okay, I know I was going to give you the benefit of the doubt and try not to call you a liar, but at this point, I have no other options because to say you're not lying would in turn make me a liar. And we're talking about Bleach here, and I'm here to sing the praises of Bleach and give the truth, okay? So you can lump it, dump it, digest it, and shove it somewhere else. I don't care. So you lied by saying he literally said that the energy reverberates into the Sakaimon to the Dongai, because that's not what he said. And also, Ichigo and Co. aren't in the Dongai, so again, you sound dumb as hell right now. They were in the Garganta, which the gift shows, and that's literally where they go, okay? They're not using the Don Guy for travel anymore. Who gives a fuck about the Don Guy? All the Don Guy does is disconnect space time. We're beyond that. And then your second lie is trying to say that the Don Guy is a pathway in the Garganta to the Earth in Waco Mundo. Again, not true. Manga debunks you. Manga disproves that. The manga, the scan pipeline, the pipeline connects World of the Living, Soul Society. The manga scans are there. I posted them, I believe, and if I didn't, my bad. They'll be posted more than likely throughout the rest of this video, and they're gonna be here even in this section. So, and as I constantly say, and will keep saying, Hueco Mundo is not connected to anything. It just exists in the Garganta. If anything, comparing Soul Society and Hueco Mundo with the Universe 6 method might be even more correct, just because of the fact that Soul Society and Hueco Mundo are both spiritual realms, and like Universe 6 and 7, both just float in a void, disconnected from each other with, again, their own space times. So even from Soul Human Realm and Hueco Mundo, there's nothing to connect them. So that's just a lie. And like I said, to not call you a lie would just make me a liar. Okay, so you're just wrong. And any other argued reason? Headcanon? Question mark? Why would it be headcanon if I'm literally correct and you're not? That makes no sense. So dismissing that. So please go back and try addressing the elephant in the room about the Don Guy. And how about try getting it correct, what the Don Guy is actually connected to? Because to me, it kind of sounds like you're a lot like Key. Maybe this is like his alternate second account or something, but it's really starting to sound like you don't know what the hell you're talking about either. So that's just that at that point. I really don't care about the rest of the statement. Aizen, who gives a fuck about Aizen? We are Yuha Glazers on this channel, okay? We are Quincy's through and through. We support the destruction of the three realms. We support that Yuha was going to destroy 3 universes. Who gives a fuck about Aizen? Not only that, but there is a reason we say that the Senjumaru feat is impressive. From her own mouth, using the slightest bit of her power would destroy, or not destroy, tremble the heavens and the earths of the 3 realms, which she literally verbatim shows, okay? Even in his gift, it cuts to everyone feeling the realms shaking. And so she says, like, their power is super great, right? So, like, she just states that. And, like, even for Yamamoto, all he says is, or all it said is he destroys Soul Society. For them, their power spans the 3 realms. And even in the anime, Gerard was like mocking them. He's like, oh, is this the power of the group who's supposed to be stronger than the 13 captains? Bullshit. And then they're like, oh, hang on a second. We're about to get serious. Senjumaru, you got it. And then she pops the Bankai, and now everyone is shooketh. So it's like, her feats and her statements, they kind of support the fact that, yeah, she outdoes Yamamoto. And I'm not going to say like she's universal or nothing, okay? I don't. And again, continuing the Dragon Ball comparisons, I actually say that this feat was only like solar system, multi-solar system levels in power. And I compare this to movie Goku, where it's been calced that him shaking, hell, heaven, and earth, which I consider them, for example, are just 3 universes within Universe 7, okay? So he shakes heaven, hell, and earth while in hell, going Super Saiyan 3. That's calced at multi-solar system energy, and that's just him powering up and transforming. Senjumaru is literally the same way. Her just going Bankai, and we want to say like Bankai is just the 5 to 10 amp. So it's like, how strong is she with multi-solar system power divided by 5 and 10? Probably still a lot. But anyways, assuming it's 5 to 10, whatever, she's popping a thing and going multi-solar system just from powering up and shaking the realms. So I would say, yeah, her power kind of does go beyond Yamamoto. But other than that, I believe this was a pretty good yap session. The Monster Energy high is kind of starting to wear off now. I'm coming down off of it a little bit. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. And again, shout out to AMAZIAH. Shout out to you. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time out to make this comment. You've honestly really made my day, even if it was a negative comment. You gave me something to respond to. You gave me something to make a video on. And so for that, I don't think I can thank you enough. If you do happen to take the time out to respond to this, big ups to you. Again, thank you for the comment. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to make this a video. I will say though, if you do see this and if you do bother to respond, if you even make it this far, another shout out, third big ups, third W. Okay, 3 W's in a row, back to back to back. 3 W's for you. One more W, and you might end up becoming a VIP or some shit. But if you do make it this far into the video, I would say timestamps. If you've got some more disagreements, if you want to have another throwdown, I'm more than happy to. I will be glad to make another video. In fact, I'd be like, keep the comments coming. I long for the comments. I need more comments. I'm trying, the more comments, the better, honestly. So, because, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, like I said, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, timestamps. Timestamps would be the way to go. So that way, you can kind of just highlight where areas in the video you're talking to, and I can listen over them, and I can, like I said, we could just go from there. So shout out to my 7 cultists. Shout out to any other cultists that might join, become part of the warp here. And shout out to any and everyone else. I hope you all have a great day. Because again, I'm having a good one. The monster energy is flowing through my veins. Even if it is coming off now, it still flows strongly within me. And I'm probably going to go get me another can and keep this train going. Other than that, I've been your Chaos Entity, Ray, signing out and returning back to my infinite grocery store to cook some more.